I made some chiptune lo-fi morning beats for my first ever game jam. Hi, I'm Rai from the arcade funk band Human Bean Juice, and I took part in my first ever video game jam last weekend, making theme music, level music, and sound effects for a breakfast food themed top-down platformer that we called Sunnyside Showdown. For those of you who don't know, a game jam is a fun competitive event where teams have a limited amount of time, in this case just one weekend, to create a video game from scratch. At the start of the jam, they announce a theme and special objects that you have to include in the game. The theme was a cheap copy, and the object was an egg. So our team came up with the idea that you play as an egg who can hatch into copies of any of the enemies that you kill. The enemies are all other food items like muffins and pancakes, and you navigate around a breakfast table as the sun rises through the window. So when it came to composing the music, I wanted it to feel like something you would listen to in the morning. And one of my morning faves, as well as 167,411 other people apparently, is some calm, laid-back morning lo-fi. But I also needed to make sure I could bump up the intensity as you progress and got to bigger enemies. So one of my other teammates had the suggestion to check out the insanely funky 1991 Sega Genesis game Toe Jam and Earl, which gave me the idea to transition the music from halftime lo-fi into double-time funk as the game builds. Of course, this was all approached from a chiptune perspective, making extremely heavy use of the Sega Mega Drive sound pack from Brian Funk that I've spoken about before. So here's how it turned out, and I'll link the game in the biog too if you want to give it a play.